Hello, and welcome to Susu's Kindergarten Videos. You are looking at the vine Celastrus orbiculatus, or it's better known by its common name of Chinese bittersweet, Oriental Bittersweet, or Asian Bittersweet. It has several common names, but the plant is the same. And you can see that it has these orange berries. And it was brought to this country from Asia. And it was brought here initially because it had these beautiful orange berries on it that appeared in the fall. And people were using them in the florist industry. And they were used in wreaths and arrangements. And unfortunately, this plant has turned out to be more bitter than sweet because it has started to take over our wooded areas in the eastern half of the United States. You can drive along the highways and you can see this vine hanging from treetops, and it just drips. In some places, it's so taken over our woods. And you can see here on the trunk of the tree where this vine just wraps around the tree trunk. And what happens is it girdles and smothers the tree. And when the trunks of these Chinese bittersweet get so large, it can actually topple the tree. And if it gets so prolific in an area, you can see the trees are all laying on the ground and the vine is just covering all the trees. And it's also taken over the American bittersweet, which is native to this country. So the Chinese bittersweet has become an invasive vine, and it's gotten onto the noxious weed list by the United States Department of Agriculture. And this can be on a federal, state, or even a local level where this vine is really taking over some of our more important native species. And just so you can learn a little bit about this vine, I wanted to get up close here where you can actually see the berries and the capsules that are around the berries. Let's see, here we have one that you can see pretty clearly. You can see the yellow capsule on the outside of the berry. And when this is, we're already into December, so these are becoming quite old. But earlier in the fall, the yellow capsule encloses the fruit, the orange berry. And then the yellow capsule will open up to reveal the fruit in the center. And this is what holds the seeds that are picked up by birds mostly, but also squirrels and rabbits. And they deposit these seeds very far away, so that's really how it gets distributed very widely. This is already covering the whole half of the United States on the East Coast. So it has really spread. It's become very invasive. And as I said, it's now on the noxious weed list. So I have this weed in our woods, and what I've done to try to eliminate it is I've gone through the woods and I have cut the trunk away from the tree, and I've just gone down to the base, and you can see these are fairly large trunks. You know, as this vine gets older, the trunk gets larger and larger, and It honestly can get as big around as a tree trunk on some, smaller tree trunks. It's like the size of an anaconda snake. It just gets bigger and bigger. So you really need a saw to cut this down, and at least that will get it away from the tree. And the top part will, of course, die, and then it will eventually fall from the tree, and hopefully you've reached the tree in time to save it. Now, unfortunately, that is not the last thing you have to do to control this terrible vine. You really have to visit the area that you first saw it, once or twice a year, to see where it's come up again, because it will come up, and it will because the roots of this vine have rhizomes, which is basically just an underground stem that can produce roots and plants. So what will happen is you can cut it away from the tree and take care of the tree, help it out a great deal by preventing it from, dying and toppling over. But the Chinese bittersweet has this incredible ability to just go out from its roots and send up another plant. And it just continues to do this. Now, if you keep cutting it, it does weaken the roots and the plant. But in some cases, what some people will do to control the root system of the vine is, once they cut the trunk of the Oriental Bittersweet, they will spray some herbicide on just the trunk, and that goes down through to the root system and helps to control it. So Oriental Bittersweet, while the name indicates bitter and sweet, for the most part, I consider this a bitter plant that we do not want to have in our woods or forest here in North America, because we want our native plants to survive. And unfortunately, this vine is able to survive on limited sunlight. It utilizes a lot of the nutrients that the trees and the other plants would normally get. So it really weakens the surrounding plants. So if I were you, I would take a look around your property and see if you have this vine growing anywhere on your property, and I would really try to eradicate this, because before you know it, it really will take over your wooded areas. And if you should decide to use this as a wreath, please dispose of it when you're finished in the trash. Do not throw it into your compost bin or into your woods, because it will just spread, and before you know it, it may be taking over a tree that you love on your property. So just an educational video to let you know about Oriental Bittersweet. Now, the American Bittersweet looks somewhat similar to this vine, so you want to make sure that you're getting the right thing when you are cutting it. As you can see on the Oriental Bittersweet, the berries follow along the entire stem. You can just follow it all the way down, and you can see berries all along the stem. Whereas with the American Bittersweet, the berries only occur at the end of every stem. So that's one way that you can identify the difference between the two, because we do want to keep our native vines alive and well, and we really want to get rid of this noxious weed, Chinese bittersweet. Over and out from Susu's garden. Love you.